Hello, everyone, and welcome to ROKStudios. I'm Stan Miller. I'm PR and Analyst Relations Manager for Rockwell Automation in the EMEA region. And I'm joined today by Andrew Bullock. He is a technical consultant, a technology consultant in the UK for Rockwell. Andrew, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Stan. It's nice to be here. It's nice to be in Madrid. Nice to get out of the UK for once.
So, Andrew, let's talk about network modernization and how it can help deliver digital transformation.
Yeah.
From your perspective, this is a topic you feel very passionate about. What are the first steps manufacturers should look to take when it comes to modernizing their network?
So absolutely, I'm really passionate about networks. It's what I do on a daily basis. When we're talking about steps with customers, there isn't a single step that every customer can take. But what we've got to realise is the emergence of smart devices and smart technologies. That data has to get transported from one place to another, and it's that infrastructure that's really, really important how that data is transported. So what a good way to look at the network is what do you want to get out of it? So whether that's a maintenance type engineer, whether it's a high level executive, they all want different things from that network. So knowing where you want to get to is a really good starting point, even though it sounds like it might be the wrong way around, but define what your end is so you know where to start.
Great advice. Let's dig a little bit deeper. From your perspective, what are the central benefits that manufacturers can realize from modernizing their networks?
There's a lot of advantages to having that modern network. I often refer to it a bit like a road, a bit like our highways. You can have the smartest technological car, but if it can't drive on that infrastructure because that infrastructure isn't capable of taking it from one place to another, then it's not going to get very far. So the benefits can quite easily be sustainability, for instance. We've got smart devices that can tell you whether things need changing before it needs to be changed, or quite the opposite. Maybe you've got something that you change on a regular basis so it doesn't break down. But having that information at the right place at the right time may mean that you're not changing it as often as you would have done previously. So there's a sustainability aspect. There's also the information that you can get out of the machine and the devices, and that information being shared across multiple stakeholders, maintenance people, supply chain, high-level executives. We've now got devices that in the event of a failure can order themselves a spare part. Well, without that infrastructure, without that network, that's not going to happen. That data is stuck, it's stagnated, it isn't going anywhere. So it's about delivering that information to the right people at the right time in a secure and reliable fashion.
Makes complete sense. Well, you've touched on it a little bit when you're talking about the different personas. Let's talk about the human element. How important is the human element when it comes to supporting modernization efforts?
So the human element, I feel, is really important. I talk to engineers a lot of the time in my daily role, and these engineers have worked on those machines or those production lines for a long, long time. They know when to maybe speed something up a little or slow something down or increase the temperature. We talk about artificial intelligence, but this is real intelligence. This is experience that would feed into that intelligence model, because they're the eyes, the ears, they are the intelligent sensors of that production line. So they've got a really big role to play in how the data is transported. They know the best paths and where it's to be transported to, as well as all the little bits of data that maybe there isn't a smart device that picks that up at the moment, but they could define what that device is and add on to that network, bringing it into a modern era.
Andrew, what are some of the ways that manufacturers can ensure that their efforts are going to generate lasting success?
So I've already mentioned sustainability. We talk about you don't want to change something if it doesn't need to be changed. That leads to a much more sustainable approach. You're changing things when it's needed to be done rather than ahead of time. You're not wasting time on unnecessary breakdowns because you've got data that's been transported along that network, so you know when things need to happen, as well as reputation. You may have a lot more data that you can now use, for instance. So rather than having, when you're manufacturing something, rather than having a failed component, why did it fail? So you can reduce those failures, therefore increasing your overall efficiency, increasing your output, and ultimately that could enhance and increase your reputation as a supplier.
Andrew, from what I'm hearing, network modernization is an absolutely critical element of an overall digital transformation. I think this has been a great overview. Thank you for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you, no problem.
And thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about network modernization, visit rockwellautomation.com.